Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Rose Writes and I write and narrate Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction. If you haven't yet, pretty please subscribe to my channel so you never miss out on my fanfiction. Mr. YouTube told me that only 40% of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, so please smash that big red button and join the fun. Huge shout out to emi-fanarts for letting me use their adorable artwork in my thumbnail. They are insanely talented, so please go show her some love. Her info will be linked in the description box below. Now then, please enjoy I Love You. Adrien's point of view. Adrien sat in the front row of Miss Mendeleev's classroom, twirling his pencil around his nimble fingers. Their strict professor droned on, saying something about protons or neutrons. Very few students paid attention, but Adrien would occasionally scribble something on his notepad to seem interested. He sat, lost in thought, thinking of the hundreds of other things he needed to do. He hadn't practiced piano in a few days because Hawkmoth had been akumatizing someone every single night for over a month. Even superheroes needed their rest, right? He also needed to work on his fencing form as well as read his Chinese textbook. Adrien had at least 3 lessons to make up from when he went out of town for a photo shoot. Adrien slumped further into his seat, inspecting every corner of the lifeless room, where the students looked just as lifeless. Miss Mendeleev stood directly in front of the teenaged boy, peering over the edge of her horn-rimmed glasses to glare down at him. His eyes slowly aligned with hers as her eyebrows furrowed, her pointy chin quivering with anger. "Ma'am?" His voice was hesitant and quiet. Did she ask him a question? He didn't think so, but he also was paying little to no attention. She cleared her throat, crossing her arms, looking intimidating as always. As she fumed, Adrien could almost see smoke coming out of her ears. Her purple hair looked even spikier than usual. "Agrest, since you can afford to drift off and doodle during my class, what is the difference between a cation and an anion?" Her nasal voice sounded more like nails on a chalkboard. Fortunately, Adrien knew the answer. The last thing he needed was an office referral. He smirked and said, "The cation has a positive charge." Adrien held up one hand, mimicking how his hand looked when he used his cataclysm. The room went silent except for the stifled chuckles of his best friend Nino, who tried to keep his giggles under control. Miss Mendeleev shot him a dirty look as he covered his mouth, nearly wheezing. "Look at my face." She got uncomfortably close to the teen model. Their foreheads were only inches apart. "I am not amused, Agrest." Her enunciation splattered spit droplets on him. He sat with his back flat against his seat, making a face. "Anion has a negative charge, ma'am." She scoffed as she moved back to the chalkboard to lecture some more. Adrien felt a small tap on his shoulder, so delicate he thought he imagined it. Marinette's pink face held a quirky expression, but she thrust a folded piece of paper at him. "Are you okay? That was harsh. I thought your pun was funny." Adrien smiled, concealing the neatly folded note. What a great friend. Marinette was checking on him. He smiled as he scribbled something back, handing it to her as the bell rang. "Yeah, thanks, Marinette." She folded it, putting it in her small crossbody bag, but something caught Adrien's eyes. When she put the paper in her purse, it flew out. Just like that. Like a phenomenon or magic. As Adrien walked closely behind, he noticed Marinette shooting a glare at her purse, giving it a gentle tap. That's weird even for Marinette. He needed to get a closer look. What is she hiding? What's her secret? As she pushed open the doors of the cafeteria, still not realizing Adrien lurked behind, he spied 2 little red antennae peeking out of her purse. Tikki. But it couldn't be, could it? The class made their way along the lunch line. Adrien was lost in thought, but this theory was only further solidified by Marinette placing several cookies in her bag, unaware of Adrien's eyes on her. Adrien's palms felt sweaty, causing his lunch tray to slip from his hands. The bustling cafeteria fell silent with only the sounds of those snickering. Marinette turned to him, smiling. Are you okay, Adrien? She stammered, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. Adrien fumbled, picking up his tray. I'm, fine. I just remembered that I have to go. Right now. See ya. He set his tray down, his face turning a shade of red like when he ate too many Takis in one sitting. Adrien swiftly turned around, feeling the eyes of his classmates on his back as he exited the cafeteria, the double door slamming behind him. He continued running until he got to the locker room, locking a stall door. Adrien's lazy Kwame emerged from his shirt pocket, giving a stretch and a yawn.
All of that running woke me up. What's going on?
I don't know, Plagg, but I think Marinette could be Ladybug. The words felt strange coming out of his mouth. The girl of his dreams could possibly be his friend, Marinette. His friend, Marinette. Plagg's neon green eyes stared at him before the Kwame shook with laughter.
Nervous, girl? Are you serious?
Adrien gave Plagg a questioning look before he continued.
Look, Marinette is nice and all, but she's shy and clumsy, and Ladybug is not.
He dismissed Adrien, then quickly flitted into the boy's shirt, rooting around for some camembert.
Yeah, but as Cat Noir, I'm a lot different too. Maybe it's the same way.
Plagg's word did nothing to discourage him, and in response, he let out a grumble, mouthful of cheese.
You know who Ladybug is, don't you?
Between bites, the Kwame said,
Sure, but that's not any of your business, kid.
Adrien sat on the bench with a huff, hands propping his head up. Plagg sat on his owner's shoulder, shoveling the last bit of cheese into his tiny mouth.
Kid, when the time's right, you'll know, okay?
I guess so, Plagg. Adrien stood dejectedly.
You know, it's just that,
He rounded the corner, running into Marinette. He took a step backward, nearly tripping. Hello, Adrien. Hello. Hello, Adrien. She stumbled over her words, twirling one of her pigtails, her eyes glued to the ground. I just wanted to check on you. You ran out in such a rush, I got worried, so I followed you. For the first time, she met his eyes, grinning nervously. Adrien glanced down in his pocket, met with a disapproving stare from his Kwame. He sighed deeply. I'm fine, thank you. Can I ask you something? He walked back to the bench, patting the spot beside him. What would you do if your friend had a secret that they never told you about? Something that made you see them completely different. Adrien was nearly certain. Marinette was Ladybug. But what should he do? Tell her that he knew? And what then? Tell her that he was Cat Noir? He knew she'd never believe that. But all of these secrets were becoming too much. All Adrien had ever wished for was freedom, and being a superhero gave that to him. But to be with the girl he loved, it'd be a dream come true. Marinette thought about this for a long moment. Well, I think it depends. If they're keeping a secret, maybe it's for a good reason, you know? Adrien sat close to Marinette, inhaling her subtle perfume. Did she always wear this perfume? And why was he just now noticing? And why was his heart beating abnormally fast? Yeah, you're right. This secret, it makes me love her more. I just wish she'd tell me herself. He glanced in her direction, smirking. He saw her face morph into a look of sadness. Love? You love her. That's great. And now that I know your secret, I can help you. As your friend, of course. I'd love to help. Marinette looked at him kindly, but the sadness still lingered. Really, Marinette? Thank you. It's, well, this is a bit embarrassing. It's you, Ladybug. He mostly wanted to see her reaction. Would she truly reveal her identity? Would she laugh at him? Or would she love him, too? Her eyes grew wide, reflecting the light shining in from the open windows. Ladybug? You think I'm Ladybug? Her giggle bounced around the metal lockers of the dressing room, a blush spread across her freckled cheeks. No way, I couldn't possibly be.
Marinette.
Adrien stopped her, taking one of her hands in his, her face turning a deeper shade of crimson.
I saw Tikki. I saw our note fly out of your bag. I saw you put cookies in your purse. You're Ladybug, aren't you?
Adrien's phrase turned into a question because as he heard himself speak, he thought maybe this could all be just a coincidence. But no. She had to be. He wanted her to be his lady.
Because to be honest, Marinette, there's no one I'd rather be Ladybug because I love you. Both sides of me love you.
Both sides of you love me. Love Ladybug? And you know about Tikki because you're, you. She couldn't find the right words as she pointed at him, her hands trembling involuntarily. He took her hand, placing it on his chest.
That's right. I'm Cat Noir. I'm sorry, Marinette. I know it's supposed to be a secret. It was an accident, I swear.
Marinette had no words. She collapsed into Adrien, holding him tightly. I love you. I always have, Adrien. Both sides of you. I'm glad it's you too. She paused for a moment, enjoying his warmth. Positive charge. I should have known. It seems so obvious now. The two sat on that bench, embracing each other for what felt like an eternity, and also no time at all. Breaking them from a trance, a notification. Another akumatized victim is traumatizing Paris. Is there no end to Hawkmoth's evil reign? Doesn't the supervillain rest? It is looking bad out there. Where are Ladybug and Cat Noir? Don't be bemused, it's just the news.
Look serious. Shall we, m'lady?
Adrien kissed his princess's knuckles, and she giggled, determination flickering in her bluebell eyes. Of course, my kitty. Let's go. A double transformation later, and the duo slid out the window hand in hand, taking on the world together, in every sense of the word. Thank you so much for listening. Please leave me a comment telling me what you thought of this story, and subscribe if you haven't already. As always, stay miraculous.